The till plains, clay-rich, poorly drained, high in uh, calcareous soil types, flat. These are home to a number of forest trees that are very widely distributed and very frequent, such as sugar maple and beech, several oaks and hickories. Depending upon the relief, if it's low and swampy, swamp white oak and pin oak. If it's uplandish, white ash. And there's also, believe it or not, prairie in Ohio. There's prairies in the Midwest that in a drier time period extended farther east than they do today into just barely into Pennsylvania. And there's some remnants of the so-called Prairie Peninsula in Ohio. And there's a tree that grows in prairies. It's called bur oak. This is sugar maple in flower. This is sugar maple in fruit with its characteristic samaras. This is American beech with its alternate serrate leaves with the straight veins. Oh, and this is a very nice woodland craft to engage in. A delightful thing about beech, you can carve your initials in it. It's very nice to use this as a nice woodland craft. Here's a moth whose name I forget, but it's super well adapted to blend in on the bark of the beech tree. I should look that up. Various oaks. I believe this one is, I'm not sure which one this is. Oaks are confusing. This is shagbark hickory, and this is its eponymous shaggy bark. And white oak. This is white oak with, oh, by the way, a kind of a gall, a response to attack, if you will, by a little wasp. This is the hairy ball gall on a white oak, right in my neighborhood, in fact. Various species of ash. I believe this is green ash, and with their opposite pinnately compound leaves and their single samaras. And this is the we learned about winter botany, how to tell plants in the winter, but note, some of the winter botany features are also useful in the summertime too. And one of the best ways to tell very similar ashes, the one on the left is green ash, and you can see how the leaf scar sort of forms a smile that it wraps partly around the bud, whereas in white ash, the more upland tree, the bud is perched above the leaf scar. So it's a winter tree feature that's useful in the summer too. This is swamp white oak, Quercus bicolor. This is pin oak, a swamp tree, which is very distinctive in a silhouette, by the way. The lower branches of swamp white oak sort of arched downward, and this one you can recognize from a silhouette. And as Jane tells us, bur oak. Bur oak is a tree that's a prairie tree and occurs in these little islands of prairie. This is a little island of prairie in Crawford County called the Dahmer Bur Oak Savanna, and it miraculously survived because it was only used for grazing lightly by sheep, and never tilled, and now it's been purchased by the state, and it's a state nature preserve, and it's managed partly by the Crawford County Park District and partly by Division of Natural Areas and Preserves. Bur Oak Savanna, and these are the eponymous bur oaks. Or is the savanna eponymous? I'm not sure. This is a natural prairie occurring along a railroad track in Caledonia. It's called Clarendon Railroad Prairie, and that's one of the places where prairies tend to be preserved in areas that are railroad rights of way. So between this road and the railroad, it belongs to the railroad. It's too narrow to use for farming, and it's sort of neglected, which is a good thing. And so this is a sort of mile-long, 50-foot wide patch of tall grass prairie, which, believe it or not, is one of the best prairie remnants in Ohio. This is bur oak. It's called Quercus macrocarpa, and it's that means big fruits because it has really big acorns. So next up, we're going to look at some of the plants that occur in the acid, dry sandstone hills of eastern Ohio.